Hi everyone. It's been a while. It really has, hasn't it? For me anyway, since I've made a video. The last one was on my birthday, November 24th. And it was a day I felt really good. It was like a little miracle. I like to look for miracles. So to me, it was a little miracle that I felt so well. Jeff will share his experience. We wanted to share some of our experiences with the COVID thing, and share what we've learned from it and stuff like that. And so now we're not contagious anymore, so we're getting about our life and making, these little steps. So I thought I'd kind of share a few things. First off, I wanted to, I think the reason why one of the reasons why I like making the videos that I do is for all those years, I taught preschool with my children growing up, and then I taught preschool again in the district, and then I taught a preschool daycare. And so I did a lot of one area, and innovative and be creative in lots of different areas in one area. And I'm going to make a little video about that, and I understand some things about that. I just wanted to do whatever I did perfect. The myth of perfection is a video I'm going to do because it was really my journey, and I think a lot of people, especially my age, they think more, they're kind of more into the perfect idea. I think the younger generation doesn't have that, and it's probably really good. But I wanted to share some of our experiences, or mine. Jeff will share some of his when he feels like it, when he wants to. So I wanted to, first off, really quickly, I wanted to make a disclaimer here. As I have thought about things and, was not moving as much because I was not well. We just had COVID symptoms, COVID stuff. And so I started thinking about and having more time to think a little bit about some of the videos I've made. And I want to put a big disclaimer on all of them. I want to just say this. I remembered looking back at the Salem Pond one that I did about the Salem Pond. And I noticed that when Jeff we would talk together. We had no clue what we were going to talk about. We were showing pictures and just talking as we go around. And then as he'd make a comment, and I wouldn't lead off on that, I saw that I kind of had some things I wanted to talk about, and then he was like propping me up and, well, what do you think about this, Christine? And I realized after the fact, well, that was interesting. I saw a part of me that was good for me to see, but I'm so dedicated to not having to do things perfectly that I decided just to put it out there anyway, to see the imperfect me who was like hogging the show, and Jeff would say something and I didn't lead with it. I didn't ask him how he felt and what he was thinking. And I want you to know that I am committed. Committed. That sounds good. To not being perfect. And that doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that I'm going to go rob a store. It's never been ever in my being to go out and willfully do anything that would harm others. Never. So anyway, I wanted to share that. And then also one more thing, because it's important for me. I don't want to add to the toxic sludge that's around. And there's a lot of it in a lot of areas in the world. And I don't want to add to my piece to it. But I did realize I made a video on November 5th, and it was one where I was in the Jordan Peace Gardens. Anyway, the International Peace Gardens, I was there talking. And I talked about how that as the effects of evil in the world increase, because I just like to say the effects, because people are damaged and they're also listening to things from the other side, because there's negative entities out there that whisper and that say things, and people don't really get that a lot of that happens. But anyway, so as that increases, so should we increase our, it's the time, it's beckoning and calling for that. Anyway, I said stuff like this, and what I realized there is I was adding to toxic sludge, basically. And I don't want to do that. And so I want to apologize. Because it's not just the spiritual realm that increases, as I see it. There's people who there are so many gifts and talents. There's so much. Some people are developing all kinds of innovative tools for better wellness. All the time. Lots of people whose gifts and talents are their creators, they're innovators. They have all kinds of new modalities. And that's awesome. And that also is part of it. So I didn't want to say just having your prayers answered or just it was only that. Because it's the whole realm. It's like, it's a whole realm of increasing. And everybody has their spot that they're good and their spot they're not good. And I'm talking too long about this. But anyway, I just wanted to do a disclaimer about that. And if there's any time you hear anything from me that you don't like, I don't care. Just in your mind go, wow, 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 wow. I will tell you I do that. I do. I don't believe everything I hear in any realm. I listen to me. And I judge it against what works for me, because I have a personality as an innovator. I'm not very good at just following, step in line to do every little thing. That kills me. It actually is very harmful for me, for my personal growth. I don't do that anymore. So I wanted to share that. And so for the COVID thing, I don't want to talk too long. So the COVID thing is, the main thing with me was feeling nauseous. It was a big, huge thing. And so I had some body aches. I never ever experienced at all not being able to taste. Not at all. I had a headache that wouldn't go away, and then some body aches, and a feeling of listlessness, not wanting to do a lot, just sleeping when you needed to. So the nauseousness, I had to really watch that, because you have to eat. And so you have to watch to make sure you don't get dehydrated. And there's a lot of different, so you have to watch. So you're starving and yet you don't feel like eating anything. It felt like, and my mind reminded me that it was like when I was pregnant with my first child. Oh, that was for 4 months. I don't know how I got through it. But that's another video about being perfect, because I didn't ask for help one time from any person. Never. And I was in horrendous, I just did everything. I never even thought to ask. It wasn't even in my consciousness. That's another video, because it's really powerful. But anyway, so this time I had to watch, and and I had to find food that I could eat. And it wasn't vegetables. I had to actually be very, very intuitive and listen, because I'm a person who needs to be grounded with the different gifts. There's that I have. There's a side that I have to be very watchful of. And so I had to really watch. What can I eat? And so for Thanksgiving, the 4 of us in our house had COVID. So we had these big plates I bought ahead of time before we knew anything. And when we had our Thanksgiving dinner, I had like a little bit of mashed potatoes here, and a little tiny bit of turkey here, and a little spot here, and a little spot here. And I found out that I had to eat often a little bit. And I had to throw away all the ideas that I had. White toast was the order of the day. Because when your body is surviving, your body is doing everything it can to fight off the infection or the virus. And so then so you need to accommodate. So that's a big thing. But we are fine. We got through it all. It wasn't that fun, but it really wasn't the end of the world. And so I want to share a couple of things. So Jeff and I know of, and I'm not one of those people. I don't know why it's on my phone, but I keep getting a COVID drip. I call it a COVID drip, like some sad story from the hospitals. It's a constant thing it tries to put there. And I don't know what I did to get that on there. Maybe I did something to put unfollow. I don't know how I hope I got rid of it. Because I don't like that. Because I know that right now there is an increase in suicides, a huge amount. An increase in depression, huge amount. But that's not covered. Because it doesn't fit the agenda. I'm really passionate about this. I will tell you some words that I will never use. I will never use the word worldwide pandemic because I understand the power of words. That's another video. I have all kinds of little tips, experiences that a word matters. Your life is a composition of what you believe, and that is coming right back to words. So another one, isolate, is not a word I would ever use. Self-quarantine is not a word I would use. These words are words that are being used conditionist. The new normal. I put that on one of our videos and I regret it, but you can't take it out when it's on. New normal is not a word I would use. So we had this COVID and we are part of the huge mix of people that are helping society to get herd immunity. We're part of it. And all these COVID numbers, they mean nothing. Guess what? I signed up to come to planet Earth. And I don't know how I'm going to die. Neither do you. And I don't know what I'm going to get in the future, but I trust and I know that whatever I have been through has been through my growth in the big picture. And so I am not going to go into fear about anything. And I wanted to share something that has bothered me about so I had so many things. Okay, so one of the things is it's been made like the God of this world. And one of the women that I admire is Candace Owens. She's a black woman. You might know her. She's very outspoken. She's very smart. And she's very, very good with words. I'm learning to be that way. I've just been teaching colors and shapes and numbers for how many years? So I am kind of done with that. Anyway, so I loved her, but one of the things that happened to her, and she told her own experience, and I have heard so many experiences from the people themselves. She has asthma, she's pregnant, she goes to her asthma doctor. She has an attack. Being 7 months pregnant at the time, goes to her asthma doctor. She doesn't have this stuff at home. She usually does, and she did what she could at home. So she's at the asthma doctor, and her asthma doctor, and there's a machine that she needs. She needs it. It's sitting in the office, and he says, "Oh, we can't use that machine for you, COVID restrictions." Have you heard of such stupidity? Have you heard of such stupidity? So now, that was her experience. And she's not isolated. There's all kinds of personal experiences. So the thing that is very alarming is this. People are more important than a mandate coming, and they're not even legislated anymore. They're coming in the back door. And they're telling doctors what they can and can't do, what they can and can't say. Nurses, same thing. And the Hippocratic Oath is do no harm, first and foremost. Well, that has been replaced by, now the Hippocratic Oath, maybe, as I'm seeing, is happening frequently if the doctors aren't brave enough to stand up to the tyranny that's happening, is now the Hippocratic Oath has been replaced with follow the rules. That's number one. Follow the rules. And so there's other stories, but I was furious with that, and I put some of my own comments in there, and I said, do not let your doctor get away with this. And I don't know, she didn't listen. I don't know if she reads anymore or not, but don't let your doctor get away with it. His first allegiance, and get a new doctor. Just, he's terrible. He's got to grow some. I'm not kidding. I said that. This is terrible for a doctor to care more about some restriction that got handed down from some globalist. I don't know, from who? Somebody who's not thinking right. And then one more thing, I'm on a rant. I guess because I've been through this. It wasn't fun. I had to watch. I had to make sure I drank enough water, didn't get dehydrated. And, it wasn't fun, but I learned a lot from it. I see a lot of creative ways that people are connecting with other people because the fear is out there. And the caring, I also see that I didn't really experience before, that's the caring. The caring is there in very many ways. And so it's kind of a game of looking and noticing what we can do and being very watchful of how this is being used in negative ways. Anyway, let's see if there's anything else. I keep reminding myself I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to do this perfect. And that's probably, so I said the words I won't use. And we have different realities too. I wanted to touch that really quickly. Like, for my mom and my aunt, they loved the flu shot. Every year they would get a flu shot. And I never once tried to tell them, don't do it. It's stupid. It's dumb. It doesn't work. Because I know the value that we all have realities. We really, really believe something. Our body is going to adjust to it. Our body, our mind is so powerful. You create your reality with your mind. That's why the words that you allow in your life. I never use the word problem. It's a swear word to me, problem. But I will use it if someone else uses it a lot. I will use that word when I'm with them because that's a word they like. And if I was to say challenge every time they say problem, there'd be a disconnect. But so that's how they were. And they never had side effects from that. They didn't have the flu. They believed it, they loved it, they did it, and it was fine for them. And me, I never had a flu shot once, and I never had the flu all my years. There was one time when I was first married when I didn't feel good. There was another time for 2 days on a Saturday and a Sunday, but I didn't ever throw up. I just felt, maybe I had, to use the restroom a lot or something like that. But it wasn't ever anything like that. So, but I also don't think that way a lot. Let me give another example. One time when I was this is a long time ago, when I was at Kmart, the old Kmart on 5600 West. Now it's a self-storage unit. 5600 West in West Valley City. So I was walking around and there was a really neat, and I remember exactly where it was. I heard it. There was a report on the air and it talked about senior citizens. I want you to see if this report would go on the air nowadays. I'm so passionate about this. Anyway, so this report, so the studies have been done that senior citizens who get worried and they stay inside because of it's flu season, and they are more likely to get sick than senior citizens who go out, who shake hands, and who are a part of society. Heard that many, many, many years ago. Would you hear that nowadays? Is that like sacrilegious? The human connection is so impactful. That's another video. Anyway, thank you for listening to my rant and my rave. Thank you for your prayers. Some people were like, I appreciated that little thoughts of, we hope you get better soon. And we did. We're part of that huge, huge group of people that helping with herd immunity. I know of 8 families who've had it. And I know of 0 people who have passed. But that's not saying some people passed. I mean, we could get run over tomorrow. This is part of life. one person, I don't know who she is, you know how you read comments that people say, one person who wasn't thinking about the end results of what she said, I have a right not to get sick. And I'm like, what planet are you on? What planet are you on? You have, so next thing is you have a right never to die. You have a right never to have any challenges in your life. It's crazy thinking. Anyway, so this is showing up. It's a good experience for humanity. It's part of our evolving, I believe. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your concern and for your caring. And we're doing okay. Thanks so much. Bye.